Derek, aka Squirrely. Um, I know I've been gone for about 2 weeks or so, ish. Some of it has been busy. I did have an out-of-state trip to go visit my best friend and his family. I hadn't seen him in literally almost 3 years because of this stupid germ, and because he lives 5 hours away, 5 plus, 6 if you're doing the speed limit. But behind me, you can see some turmoil. I think I don't know if the mouse button. I don't think the mouse pointer is going to show, but there's a 2x4 back there. Just since yesterday, because I was measuring things out. I was going to rip that entire side of my office apart and make home-built shelving. Like I have in my garage. Looks pretty good, actually. It's just 2x4s and either plywood or OSB, for the shelving actual surface. But I got all fired up and I went to the lumber store and I got some stakes for a fence outside that's been needing. Sorry, white shit neighbors got music going. I can't do anything about it. And I found out that the cheapest plywood, like literally the shittiest warped shit you can get, that's 3/8, not even ½ inch, is $60 a sheet. At least it's G stuff, right? Put on that stank face. I'm actually going to try to keep this one at 10 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes I know is the sweet spot. For some reason I like 20. But anyway, so I didn't end up getting wood. The guy told me he thinks it's 33 or $35 a sheet, and I was like, Jesus fuck, it should be, sorry language, should be 10 bucks a sheet, right? It's always been the 8 to 10 to 13 if you want the good stuff. It's not like I'm making shelving with MDF or masonite. Oh, okay, I guess, I got to the register. My total was like 70 something, and I had 3 or 4 $2 steaks along with the wood. And I said, what is going on? Oh yeah, it's the plywood, it ends up being like 54, 55 bucks. I said, forget it. At that rate, I can buy shelving that will work. I mean, it won't be custom built, and it won't be, I can't make it to my specs, but, there's got to be an alternative. Well, when I was down visiting my friend in Arizona, the room I stayed in, their extra room or guest room, I guess, had these bitchin' ass like pods that were all stackable. It was like 6 feet high. It must have been $30 or something crazy. And I'm like, this would... Oh, it just, the ADHD, OCD monsters just went, oh, shit. But then, I thought, well, how many millions is that? I never even looked into it because I'm not working right now. I don't have a great deal of money. So I just never looked into it. I mentioned how expensive plywood was in like their family channel of Discord, and she linked me to those tubs because I mentioned them, or those cubes, and I mean the whole, like the 6-foot set was $100 even, and I said that it's like 30 stackable cubes, 6 foot by 6 foot or something, $100, or 2 sheets of plywood. You can't even get 2 sheets for $100. But with the tax, I think, and with the tax and all that, it was like 107, and it's like, I think it was 107. I can't get 2 sheets of plywood for that right now. But anyway, that's not really. So anyway, I'm sorry. So back here to my right, maybe left on the screen, is going to look, and just for kicks, maybe I can show you this shit. I mean, it's, minus the 2x4, of course. I brought that in to see how long they were, but I mean, look at this. That shit isn't, Sorry about the shaky cam and all. Now everything's all jacked up. Whatever, that'll work. You know, the cheap 3-door tubs, and you know, the dresser set's nice. You know, I got it when we, I think, moved out here. You know, 87, 88 or something, and it's real cedar and it's real nice, and but none of it matches. It looks like a fucking thrift store in here, and I'm tired of it. This is part of my journey to basically defeat ADHD, because if I can organize, I can survive, right? But I more wanted to touch on, which I probably should have led with, but I'm no good. The last video I made, I was just editing it, you know, going through, adding some comments or whatnot, watching it back, and I really, really became affected. Like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing on screen. You know, there was a very, very broken man that you know, I always wonder, you know, because I'm not stupid, and I'm you know, I'm decently lazy, I'm not gonna lie, but like when it comes down to like, okay, let's, you know, I want a good life, you know, I've showed up. I of course I didn't finish college, which was a huge mistake, and I didn't, you know, I didn't stick with some of these jobs that, you know, who knows, maybe today I'd be at least entering the adult pay arena instead of, you know, minimum wage or $1 or $2 above it. But anyway, I became, I mean, for lack of better terms, and I don't like to use the word loosely, but horribly depressed, you know, and I thought, God, I started thinking about, you know, sorry, I should shut my Discord down before I record, but again, I'm no good. You know, every problem that's in my life, major or minor, and every problem that seems to have happened between me and other people, like exes or old friends or something, you know, I just trace back to me, and it's like, holy cow, you know, am I really just a cancer, you know, that doesn't deserve to be here? You know, I mean, am I just cruising for a few more good times until the next, you know, time I destroy someone because I'm not mentally fit to operate in society, right? You know, I mean, the male thing was what really got me. You know, how serious, you know, and how, oh, and I've got a new friend, which, yeah, say hello to Spooky. You know, the amount of angst, of anxiety, of straight out hate that just receiving mail gives me. I thought, well, no shit, you can't get along in life, dude. I've always known that I had social anxiety. Hold on, let me shut this fucking thing down real quick. I don't know who's talking. It's not my server. Okay. By the way, in the background, I'm playing Stream Beats by the forward-thinking and wonderfully talented Harris Heller. I'm going to try to link to that in the description. There, I wrote it down because I once I'm done with the video, you know, editing it hurts my soul, and then you know, when I'm uploading it, I just, oh my God, I don't care about all these boxes, all these check marks, all this. You describe it, you know what I'm saying? I just want my stuff out there, but that's ADHD talking. That's big time. I got to slow down a little bit, but yeah, I did a lot of waking up and you know, tears fall. Oh my God, ouch! Waking up, crying, going to bed, crying. You know, I didn't know what to do. I figured I was under too far, buried too deep under my own mess to get out. I figured all the people that I had hurt, you know, because it's funny, because I guess it's normal for, like, when people break up to, like, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend type thing, you know, you just don't talk to each other anymore. I guess that's normal, but I've never really gotten that myself. You know, it's the male-female dynamic is so much different than like friends or family or anything else, because it's like, all right, so you know, we went a few months or a year or two and it didn't work out. Why is it now like a societal faux pas? Why is it you know, approaching borderline crime to just ask how you're doing?
Yeah, F you wrecked my life and this that.
No, I didn't, dude. You know, I've never ever set out to wreck anyone's life. In fact, I'm so easygoing that, you know, I don't have much power in any of my relationships. You know, I hand it over gladly. You do the shopping, you know what I'm saying? You take care of the things. I'll eat shit that I don't like to prevent me from going to the store and walking around in that hour and a half long hell trip. I would rather literally just waste my time doing anything else. God, I hate store trips. Not every time, but you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, I guess I'm sounding like a typical male, but the problem, but what I'm getting at, I guess, is that, you know, unless something terrible was done, like, you know, I mean, multiple cheats or stealing or you know, spreading rumors or conning someone out of something, I really don't understand how two people can be so attracted to each other, and then for whatever reason it doesn't work out, and then it's just like, fuck you very much, you know, I will never see you again. It doesn't make sense to me, because when I build relationships, I care. You know, I'm very empathic. I'm very, I get into them, you know, and I sacrifice things to make the other person happy, and I try my best, and that didn't help, because then of course the mind wants to tell you, yeah, you do try your best, man, and your best ain't good enough for anybody, you know, just for strangers, much less people that you care about that always seem to go away. Like, you know, the point is, when people exit my life, they fucking hate me, like, to the core. And it's like, damn, dude, I've got issues just like anybody else, but I've never, you know, I just don't understand why, you know, I can't randomly ask my ex from 96, hey, how's it going? You know, isn't it nice to be thought about sometimes, you know?
This is inappropriate, I'm with someone.
Yeah, did I ask, you know, when the last time you played with yourself, or did I ask how's life going? Come on, you know, I mean, I understand that once you break up, the dynamic changes, but I mean, the it's either all in or I hate you. I never really got that philosophy. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. I value everyone that has come into my life, and it's like they don't seem to do the same, or they're smarter than I am and they know when to cut their losses and move on. Maybe they're not as emotional, maybe they're not as, you know, I don't know. I was a little bit of a mama's boy, but still, you know. But anyway, I got very depressed. I got very, very down on myself, and I don't mean like, but it'll be okay. I mean like, well, I wasn't going to say it, but maybe I shouldn't. But it was bad. It was bad. Whew. You know, and of course, I'm hoping there's going to be ups and downs in life and in this, you know, ADHD journey and everything else. But I'm not aiming, and I'm 14 minutes in, so sorry. I'm not aiming for every video to become a downer either, so that we can all cry in our fucking milk that's now gone sour because we have ADHD and didn't drink it right away. No, but in order for me to share a real journey and gain real followers, real people, not, you know, not the fakers, not the ADHD moment. No, everybody forgets things. That's not an ADHD moment. Fucking trust me. Those of you who have it hardcore, I hope you hate when people say that too. You know what I mean? Like me and depression, man. I've known a lot of depressed people in my life. Like depression is more widespread than you think. Trust me on that. And it's like, I would never make fun of depression because, you know, it's only happened twice, 3 times in my life, really. I mean, I get down and sad, sure, but I mean, like, to where it's, like, really bad. But I pop right back out. This time I wasn't popping out, and it was week after week after... Fuck! Pincher bug. Of, I just wanted everything to end, and I didn't really care how, or I just needed it done quickly. So, I popped out of that, took a look around, and went, dude, you know, if you want to die anyway, why not stick around and see if you can fix this? You don't know. But if you know, if you go out or you give up, you'll never know. You'll never know. And I thought, damn it. You know, that's not me either. That is definitely not me. I don't deal well with never knows. Oh, I hate them. Maybe that's one reason I kind of want to stay in touch with exes. I mean, isn't it weird to think that somebody you dated and maybe even were engaged to or married to, maybe, you know, some serious relationship where there was genuine caring and sharing. Okay, so now it's 10 years later. Okay, you've moved on. That's fine. But isn't it weird knowing that that person could have died 5 years ago and there's just no fucking way you'd know? And, you know, blocked on Facebook, blocked on Instagrizzle, you know what I mean? You know, email addresses changed, they move and shit, you know, and it's like, I mean, you legit, unless you're a private investigator or have hands on something else, there's literally no way to figure out what they're doing in life. And it's not like, I'm not talking about obsessive behavior, like, oh, I'm going to follow you to the end. Just randomly, once a year, you know, you think of that ex and say, damn, I wonder where he or she is now. Wonder what they're doing. Are they happy? The internet search, you know, the quick Google, big fucking goose egg, because they have no internet presence. Or they've blocked and hidden you as best they can from every platform. There's just nothing out there on them. And it's like, wow, I must be really fucking bad, dude, in order for people to, like, not only want out and then ghost me, but then to, like, you know, basically move into a vault. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to show up at your door. I mean, it's the age of the internet. I just kind of want to peek in and see how, whatever. But you probably get what I'm saying. But so now, in the interest of making this video only 20 minutes long, I'm going to revamp everything I can, starting with where I spend the most time, which is right here in this office. It's going to get clean. I'm not a perfectionist either. I'm really not. I do have problems with perfectionism a little bit, but I'm not a perfectionist. I'm more, I don't want to begin something unless the situation is you know, perfect. I kind of fall into that sometimes. Like, well, you know, for example, let's say that the truck needs its brakes done, but the garage is a mess. And it's like, I think about it. I sit here, you know, you ADHD and probably OCD folks know what I'm talking about. I play it through in my mind, and I can see myself halfway through the job. I need some tool, and I've got to walk into that and find it. And, you know, it just makes me not want to do it. You know, as a person with extreme ADHD, I need things as easy as possible to help me along. You know, and by what I mean by that is I need to set my life up to where everything is as easy as it can be. I don't mean that I can't do hard things or tough, difficult situations. I'm really actually pretty good in them. But anyway, I'm starting. I have never. Now I've done it a little bit before. You know, you make the ambitious to-do list in the morning, and then you're like, you know, an hour later you still haven't started it because you know you did it before breakfast or what. In fact, breakfast is beeping in the microwave right now. Whatever, man. You know, I got stuff to do. I can eat in a minute. You know, you realize, oof, I can maybe do 2 or 3 of these, you know, and I've got 8 listed. This is gonna make me feel bad because I didn't accomplish things, and at the end of the night, I get to look down and see all the non-crossed out things. So I'm trying to do a couple of things. Make my things to do lists reasonable and attainable, and also add in at least one or two that is like, okay, that's, if I do that, I'm kicking some ass, because you've got to push yourself too, or you're just floating along. So today I kept one. We have two trash can things, two great big things that they pick up every week. I purposely left one of them isolated. I got it way away from the others and empty for today. Well, actually for yesterday, but I screwed up. I did it again. It was the price of that wood. Going to my local lumber yard to find out that a $10 sheet of plywood is now $60. I mean, that's not something that's okay with me. That affects my life because I do a lot. I'm not a woodworker and I'm not in construction, but I use wood, and that's going to prevent me from doing all kinds of cool things. Sometimes when I'm streaming, I'll think, hey, it would be kind of cool to elevate it, this or that, and I can put things under it and save some space or what have you. That's going to have to wait. 2x4s are stupid. They're like $30 or something. What? No, it can't be 30. It was 15 or something. It was ridiculous. $10 maybe. They're usually like $3 for the kind that, if you don't care if they're a little crooked or not. But so to wrap up, I am doing fine. I am closing doors, opening doors, trying my best to get organized and purge. For any of you who watch this and can relate or have advice or have questions, I need to redo an introduction video, because I'm actually pretty well read as far as psychology, as far as, things that go on, and I love to help people. I do not claim to be a psychologist. Of course, I didn't. I can't do any of that. I can't finish school, but I have a dime store psych education. Trust me on that. For a few summers, I did nothing but read old psychology books. Jung and of course Freud, and then I was buying textbooks from this used bookstore and just reading the textbooks. I didn't care, man. If it had to do with the human condition, mind, all that, I wanted to know about it. So I'm pretty well read. I'm also really good at deciphering dreams. I don't have to know you. I can tell what a dream means. I've read a virtual fuck ton of dream books. Like the Dream Key is one that I recommend. I got mine used at that store, and it changed my life. I was able to break a lot of recurring dreams that I was having, and break the cycle of nightmares and stuff like that when I was younger. Anyway, comment if you feel like sharing or reaching out. Other than that, have a great, is it Thursday today? And I will see you next time. Stay strong out there. It gets better. Even if it's just slightly, it gets better. If you're low, reach out to a friend, a family member, a loved one, me. I'm all ears, man. All right, take care, guys. We'll see you.